Hey guys, that monkey and we're back here for another video. Welcome back to the episode of my daily sniping series. And guys, today we're going to be talking about is going to be Madden 18. Something that, we all want to know anything information possible we can get. So guys, we are going to cover a subject that actually I saw on Twitter where Rex from EA actually said something. And I just want to talk about my opinion on the matter and everything like that. So someone tweeted at Rex and said, can we bring back the defensive assignments feature? Putting your best defender on the best receiver was huge. So pretty much, when you line up your guys, your best guy is going to go against their best guy. Your best defender is going to go against your best their best offender. And if you remember how this year kind of works is their best receiver goes against your number 2 corner. Well, obviously they're going to be changed next year where it's completely different, where it's wherever your best defender is, he lines up to the best receiver. Kind of like in real life how Richard Sherman in the Seahawks-Steelers game last year, he shadowed Antonio Brown no matter where Antonio Brown lined up. So Antonio Brown lines up on the left side, the right side, the slot. He lines up pretty much in the backfield. Sherman's going to cover Antonio Brown. He's going to line up where Antonio Brown lines up. And this year, that's not the case. How this year works is, your guy, you have your number 2 corners always line up on the right-hand side. Your number 1 corner always lines up on the left-hand side. Your number 3 corner is always in the nickel corner in the slot. And that's how that works. And that's an issue because when you have, mismatches, it's kind of annoying mismatches because you can't really change it unless you go in your depth chart and move your guys around, and then they're going to do the same thing, and it's just annoying. Next year is going to be a little bit different with the fact that the best matchups go against the best matchups. So, for example, if you have, Willie Brown, your number 1 corner, and, the guy you're playing has, let's say, Randy Moss, and his second guy is Emmanuel Sanders, login guy, right? And you're like, I want Willie Brown on Randy Moss. No matter where Randy Moss is, I want Willie Brown covering him. Well, that's how next year seems like, according to Rex, is going to be. Wherever Randy Moss goes, Willie Brown's going to go. Rather than this year, where if you put Moss in the slot, Brown's still going to be on the outside covering Sanders. So it's going to be a little bit different. It's going to change up the playing field. And it sounds, in my opinion, like it's going to be a very, very awesome thing. Because you don't have to worry about mismatches as much. Just like real life, where your best defender is going to play their best offender. And that's how it's going to work every single play. And, no one in football ever stays in the same spot. You always have people lining up in different positions. You always have people covering different people. You have different packages. Rarely in football do you ever just send out the same 11 guys. Actually, sorry, never in football do you ever send out the same 11 guys every single play. And the reason why is because packages. You have different packages. You have different guys on the field for different situations. For example, the Baltimore Ravens. We don't have in, last year we didn't have in Timmy Jernigan on, I believe on not run plays. I think passing plays because, actually no, sorry, not Jernigan. Jernigan was a monster. Brandon Williams, we had him in mainly for run-stopping plays, for running plays. We didn't have him in when it came to passing plays. Although, Williams is a monster, he is more about the stopping the run. He's more of that big boy in the middle that's going to just knock someone down and not let you get past him. So, that's something that, I wish they would bring to Madden, and this kind of sounds like we're moving in that direction. How now we're going to have actually people have different packages. Now, of course, let's not get ahead of ourselves. The packages wasn't confirmed like different, you can do different packages this year. It's just that no one really does it. And that's actually something I hope they kind of fix next year is they make backups actually important. in real life, backups are very, very important. Almost as important as the starters, because some backups are technically starters, you know, in different packages. You have a package where you need to stop the run. Well, that left end that maybe never gets in on the field, he's now on the field because of that fact. And that's kind of something I hope they change in next year's game, is kind of make it more like realistic, make it more package based. So you might have to go with two outside linebackers because one is good against the run, and when you sub him in for your package, he's good against the run. Now, I know a lot of people do this, so don't get me wrong. A lot of Madden players, they always have backups because of that reason. But a lot of newbie players, or a lot of players who just don't care, they don't have backups. And that's something that I kind of hope Madden kind of pushes, you know? Like, this year, they're not pushing the fact that backups even matter because you don't have to have backups. You know, you can go out there with 11 men on offense, 11 men on defense, and you're fine. And you don't need backups. Obviously, you know, Madden glitches when you do that, and it'll put like your D tackle at your cornerback position. But that's something that, you know, it's not like, okay, you need a backup. Like, hey, when you do different packages, you need someone else in there. And that's something that I kind of hope they change next year. But to get back to my point, and the point of this video is, it's going to change next year, guys. Defense, at least defense is one thing confirmed to be changed. There's a whole new engine in next year's game, which I'll talk about in a different video. But for right now, guys, we have your guy lines up against their best guy, and that's something that, you know, Madden has not had yet. Oh, I don't know if Madden had that in the past, but that's something that really is going to change up this whole entire game next year. So cap off to EA. Good job, EA. Good job with you know, finally fixing this whole entire, like, fixing defense in general and making it more as a realistic side where your best corner is going to line up against their best wide receiver. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. Sorry I rambled a lot in this video. I'm just trying to give you examples as much as possible so no one gets confused, because I know a lot of times when I'm explaining something, people will get confused. I know like 60-70% of the audience understands what I'm saying, but some gets confused. So I'm trying my best to give more and more examples in real life, you know, in like football, realistic football knowledge, so that you guys can understand it a little bit better. Anyway, guys, thanks so much for watching. I'll see you guys next one. Peace out.